Okay, so following along from the previous video, we are just going to print out the results. So we copy and paste each instance, then paste them in, and then for each one we'll type in print, and also we'll print out a new line just to be more readable. So we can copy this line and paste it in here, and then just save the file as it is, and also we can remove the previous code and finally save it. So let's go to the terminal and let's go first to the desktop. So change the directory to the desktop and then to the quotes spider, hit enter, and then type in scrapy crawl quotes, hit enter. So as you can see, here is our text, here's our author, and here are our tags. And again, this is for the 9th, or pretty much this quote. Here's the text, author, and finally the quotes. Sorry, the tags. Weird tag, but yeah. So the second thing that we will do in this video is figure out the iteration over the pages. So how do you actually do that is by going into the next and just inspect really element like everything other. And here, as you can see, we have in the list with the class next, we have a tag with the href to our page. As you can see, as I'm hovering here, we will go to the http://quotes.scrape.com/page/2. So this indicates that we will go to the next page, as you can see in a moment. And the next page, if we go to the bottom of the page, will be the third page, as you can see from here. So if we go once again to the inspect, you'll see that right now the next page will be page 3. If we go to the page 3, it will be page 4, etc. Let's go to the home page. So once again, go to the inspect. And let's see, so there are once again multiple ways of actually getting to the data, or in our case to the link to the second page. So this is the data that we are after. We're just going to select the class, so select every class with the next as a value. Then we will go to the a tag and finally extract or get to the href. It sounds a bit trickier, but it's fairly easy. Let's go to our terminal and type in response. Sorry, this is our spider or root directory of the spider. So if we go to the shell and type in response.expat, so find every class, the value is going to be next. So let's hit enter and see if something is found. Perfect. So we will go to the a tag. So the way, of course, that we would do that, we type in a or /a, hit enter, and here we have our href, as you can see, and we have also the text next. We don't need that, but that's good to know. And we type in here / and then finally href, because we want to extract just the text that I'm highlighting right now, or link in our case. Hit enter, and as you can see, here is the data point that we are after. So that's perfect. We type in just extract first because currently this statement or expat selector is in a selector. So type in extract first, open and close parentheses, and as you can see, we have our next page URL. We copy our URL or statement, copy, go back to the text editor. We type in here next page, for example, URL, variable name is equal to this pretty much statement. Hit enter and we will yield request, but before that we will type in absolute next page URL will be equal to the pretty much response dot I will explain this statement in a moment, URL join, and then next page URL. So here the next page URL, if we copy and paste it into our terminal, you will see that next page URL will be just this part of URL. This is not the absolute URL, and if we try to yield request with Scrapy, it will pretty much not go anywhere. So what we do is type in response URL join statement, and in open and close parentheses we type in next page URL, hit enter, and as you can see here is our absolute next page URL. So if we go to the second page, the output that we will get from this statement is pretty much this one, and instead of 2 we'll have the 3, so it will be the third page, which makes sense. So we need to yield request. Let's see, so to do that we type in scrapy.request, and then in open and close parentheses the URL to the page will be absolute next page URL, and that would be pretty much it. So normally if it's not the request, if it's not in the parse function, then you would also have to assign callback function. So that would be a self-parse page or whatever the function name is. But since we are in our parse function, we don't need to do that actually. So let's save this in, go back to the terminal, navigate to the root directory and crawl entire site once again. So hopefully this will scrape the entire site. Let's hit enter. And as you can see, a lot more pages or quotes in our case are returned. So this indicates that we scraped the entire page or entire site. And to reassure, we have 10 requests, which are 200, which means successful, which means that we are pretty much good to go. So that will be it for this video. In the very next one, we will yield our 3 data points that we previously scraped and talk about Scrapy feed exports and pretty much output data to the CSV, JSON, and XML. See you there.